Chapter 4, Creating Reports and Forms. So we would like to open up our Bavant Publishing again. So we're coming to Access. And if you're on your home computer, you'll be able to see the last Bavant that you opened. And for me, I've already opened it once and saved it into my Chapter 4 folder, which if you're doing that, that's fine. And if you're not doing that, that's fine too, whatever works for you. Now, turn to page 208. On 208, it tells us to right-click the Customer Financial Report. So we'll go ahead and slide down to our reports, and you see our Customer Financial Report. We will right-click and choose our Layout View. Now in Layout View, we are able to move around our fields and arrange how things are set up in here. Go ahead and close your navigation view. And then it says if your field list appears, you can close that. And if you did, it would have opened over here. So if you have anything extra over here, go ahead and close that. Then it says tap the Group and Sort button. So that is in the 1, 2, 3rd group, and it's the first button in that Grouping and Totals section. So click on Group and Sort. And notice down here at the bottom you get a section that does Add Group and Add Sort. Now at the bottom of page 208, it says to click on Add Group. So we're going to click on Add Group, and we also get a list of numbers. So we want to choose the Customer Type field. Customer Type field, click on that. Now we're going to sort by, we're going to group and group by customer type. And notice it says with A on top, so it's doing it in ascending order. Notice that we now are grouped by each of our customer types. Alright, that's what we just changed. Now we're going to click on Add a Sort. On page 210, it says to choose Customer Number. So up here at the top, Customer Number. And notice now that we have our groups that are sorted in A to Z, or ascending order. And we also have our customer numbers sorted in ascending order within each group. Pretty easy to do, correct? Excellent. So now we're going to turn to page 212. And it says, click on the Amount Paid column header. So we'll click on Amount Paid, column header. And it says tap or click the Totals button. So we slide back up here to the Grouping and Totals section. So we click on the Totals button. And number 2 says click on Sum. Now what that does is sum each individual customer type. Now notice that our numbers are getting cut off, and yes, I will count off for that. So click on the first one, expand it out enough so that you can see the whole one. And notice that it fixes all of them. So you only have to fix the first one, and it will fix them all. Excellent. Now on page 213, it wants us to do the same thing for current due. So totals and sum. And for total amount, sum. And returns and sum. And notice that it automatically sized each of these fields the same as the first one that we had just done, so we don't have to resize these again. Now it says tap or click the subtotal of the total amount field to select it. So we go to total amount field, then we click on the subtotal. We will open up our property sheet, and then from there we will go to the format box. So we slide to format, Then we want to click on the format arrow right here, and we want to choose currency. And notice that now if you look over here at all of your subtotals, they are now all formatted as currency. Except for that. That's interesting. Alright, so it was just supposed to do our subtotals. And it says, scroll to the bottom and format the grand total, and that would be this one. And change that to currency also. So we're still in our property sheet, and we're going to choose currency, and now that did that. Also, you want to double check to make sure that all of your numbers are completely seen, and if not, go ahead and make the box a little bit wider so you can see them all. Next, on page 214, we'll go ahead and close our property sheet, and you can either close it clicking on the X or clicking on the property sheet right here. Whatever makes you happy. Both of them work. And number 1 on page 214 says, click the Group and Sort button to remove this stuff here. So we'll click on that. Now, if you changed your mind and wanted to add some more stuff, all you would have to do is click on it again. Alright, so all this button does is toggle it on and off. Alright. Now on page 215 it says scroll to the top of the report, and then click on Format. Then click on the current due field of the first record. So we go to current due, first record. Now, honestly, you don't even have to do the first record. It could be any record in here. Alright. And then we want to click on the conditional formatting button. So if you'll slide straight up, it's the last section on your ribbon, conditional formatting. Now this is really good if you need to red flag something that's bad, or green flag something that's good, anything to draw attention to specific things. So on page 216, number 3 says click on a new rule. Then we are going to choose where it says between. We'll click on the down arrow. And number 5 says greater than or equal to. Excellent. Then 6,000 is our comparison value. 6, 1, 2, 3. So anything that is greater than or equal to 6,000 is going to format it a specific way, and it's the way we are going to tell it to. So at the bottom it says to click on the font arrow, and then on 217 it says to choose the dark red in the lower left corner, and notice when you slide over it, it says dark red, and it is the font, not the fill. And if you do the fill, I'll count it wrong, so make sure you're choosing the font. Alright, dark red. The preview shows you what it's going to look like, and then we say okay, so greater than or equal to 6,000. Alright, so we have value greater than or equal to 6,000, and that's the color it's going to be. It shows you the formatting. Then we're going to say okay again, and now you'll see everything that's greater than or equal to 6,000 in this column is now red font. Excellent. Save our changes, and then we want to right click the returns field on the first record. So we're going to come up here so we can see it, and right click our returns field on the first record. And no, you do not have to pick the first record, but we are specifically looking for the zero value. That's what's important to us right now. So if we right click that, and on page 219 it says choose does not equal a 0. So it's very similar to what we just did, it's just a little bit quicker. So we click on this, and does not equal to 0. And notice that all the records that are not equal to 0 is all that is shown. Okay. Anything that was equal to 0 is now hidden. Now, all we have to do to clear this filter is right click on the record, and this time we want to choose clear filter from forms, and it shows them all. Now in your book it does specifically say choose the second one, but it really doesn't matter. Alright, just whichever one you have to click on. Now click save, and we've saved our form. And it says to close the customer financial report. Now it tells us to print. I don't actually want you to print, but we need to practice. So make sure that customer financial report is selected, and then we want to go to the print tab in Backstage View, and we're not going to print, so don't print. But if we were, they wanted us to print here, but don't do that. There's no sense doing that any longer. I know y'all know how to print to PDFs now, and if you're going to print in normal on a piece of paper, that's the place to go. Alright, so let's go back. Now click on the book rep table. So let's go to the book rep section. Click on the book rep table, and then click on create. And we want to create a report wizard, so slide over the report section, go to the report wizard, then click on the add field button, and we're going to add the book rep number. So book rep number, move that over. First name, and that one, oops, and the back works great. First name, there you go. And then the last name. That's what happens when we get in a hurry, right? Then we're going to click on the tables and queries, and we are going to choose the customer. So we're going to click on that one right there is the table book rep. So now we're going to choose our table customer. Alright, now we're going to get some fields from here. And in this case, they want us to grab customer number, customer name, amount paid, so we got to slide down, amount paid, and current due. So technically we have joined, or we have used two separate tables to create this report. So choose next, and now it says how do you want to view your data, and we want to be viewed by our book rep table, so we're just going to leave that be. That's excellent. So we say next, and when we get to here, our book rep number, this is how we want it to be grouped. Everything is excellent. We are going to leave it just as it is, and we will choose next. Now at this point we want to click the arrow in the text box labeled 1 right here, click on the down arrow, and we're going to choose customer number field. So we get to choose to sort these records by the customer number field, and often we do this in queries and filters and other stuff like that, but in this case we're doing it in the report. Now we're going to come down to our summary options, click on that, and notice that we have summary values, and we can choose what we want calculated in our report. In this case, we want to select sum. We're going to sum both amount paid and current due. Say OK. And then we're going to choose next. In our layout, we want to choose stepped and landscape. Then we're going to choose next. And the title is going to be Customers by Book Rep. And then we'll hit finish. And there is our beautiful report. Notice it has by book rep number, customers in ascending order. We have amount paid and current due, as well as a summary for each one. So summary for book rep number 42, 6 detailed records. It is summed, and here is the summation. So it's exactly what we just asked it to do. So easily to grab information that we need. This is one of the reasons why I love Access so much. So number 10 tells us to click on the magnifying glass. So that is in the 4th bank of stuff on your ribbon. Click on zoom, and you can slide over and zoom in on something specific or zoom out. Zoom in, zoom out. All right. Now on page 226 it says close print preview, so we're going to hit close right there. And now we can see the very back side. This is what you did, but you let the computer do it for you. Now eventually you will also be working back here. Kind of cool. So now we want to go to our view arrow, and let's go back to our layout view. So we're going to go to layout view, and there you go. That's something that you recognize now. And we're going to click on summary for book rep number 42. So we select it, and it says drag the right hand border so that nothing extends over the dashed line. Now mine doesn't, so I'm okay. So double check yours, make sure nothing goes over this line here. The same thing with your page number. Make sure that your page number also is not over that vertical line. Alright, nothing should be over, nothing to cause you a second page. Alright, because that's just so very unprofessional. And I'm going to move it in just a hair. Alright, then it says number 12, if necessary, page number. We just did that, so now we're going to hit save. Most excellent. And then it says to close. I'm going to click on close. On this one now it says to, with the customer's book rep report selected but not open. So customer by book rep report selected, go to file and print. And once again, do not print. And they were wanting you to do this, but make sure you know how to do it for Sam, so that, and when you get out there in the real world and have to do it, that way you can print reports. Now, next thing we're going to do is go back and make our reports pretty. So on page 233, we're going to go back, and it says open the customer financial report. So we're going to open that, and it specifically says layout view. Since I double clicked it, it went to report view, so I want to click on layout view from here, and that way we can change the way it's laid out. Then it says tap or click the hide details button. So we're going to slide up here, hide details, and that hides the details of the report, and all we see now are our sums. Here is our customer type, and we get the total of the amount paid, current due, and total amount. Pretty cool. And then it says, so that way if somebody doesn't need to see all the specifics, you know what I'm saying, you can hide all this, and they just need to see your totals. So that's a good way to be able to present. You got to show different things to different people depending on what's going to be done with the report. So go ahead and close this. Do not save the changes. And then according to the book, it's a great time for a break. See you in a second.